This is Gene Montrestell, and welcome to the Tap and Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 421, originally aired March 5th, 2011, re-edited and remastered for January 13th, 2020. Everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today, we are going to talk about and tap on a little process that I have created, which makes it very, very easy for you to tap on a whole bunch of issues all at once. And there are a number of ways that I like using this particular technique. The first way I like to use this technique is, and I use this with my clients often, particularly at the beginning of a session, if they show up where they have a lot of things going on at once that is creating a lot of different emotional distress, and there's this entire constellation of emotions. For example, I was working with a client last week who had family issues going on, she had work issues going on, she had health issues going on, and in the middle of all of that, she was moving. And when that happens, and there's this giant swirl of emotion, it makes it really difficult for us to focus on one thing, because the instant the distress in one area starts to diminish, we immediately focus on the thing that is the highest distress. So in this case, let's just say to begin with that work is a 7, family is a 6, health is a 7, move is a 5. And so when we work on that first 7 and we bring it down to a 4 or 5, immediately our focus jumps to whatever is left at the highest amount, which is a different issue. And if we're doing this, what we're doing is we're just slowly diminishing the distress from issue to issue to issue, and we're jumping around and we're feeling a little bit better, but we're not actually making a huge difference because there's still these big chunks of a distress and we're spread through all these emotional experiences. And so this is a great way to at least start to clear the decks and do a bunch of issues all at once. And oftentimes when we do that, it helps us to get focused so we can stay on one issue. Another way I like to use this is I like to use this at the end of the day, that as I look back on my day, I might not have something that's really big, like one thing that I'm still carrying an emotional burden from because I made a choice I didn't like, or someone did something to harm me, or whatever it is. I might be in a circumstance where I have a bunch of like 2s and 3s and 4s. And if I don't want to spend time like knocking out each one of them, using a technique like this is a perfect way to go after a bunch of them all at once. Finally, I find this really useful when I'm just feeling kind of blah, and it's difficult for me to be specific about what is going on. And so by using a process like this, it gives my subconscious mind the opportunity to kind of dump everything in the container, and I can tap on it. And two things happen. I get some relief, and sometimes I get specificity to see what's going on. So this is a great technique for when we have a lot of things going on. This is a great technique to end your day with a bunch of small things. And this is a great technique to use when you're not exactly sure where to start. So here is the container process. So to begin with, what I want you to do is just take a nice, easy, deep breath and just tap on the side of your hand, right there on the karate chop point. Just feel yourself relaxing. Take another nice, easy, deep breath. And with both hands, what I want you to do is I want you to tap under your eye on both sides. And as you take a nice, easy, deep breath, I want you to just feel yourself grounded in your body. And with both hands, I want you to tap on your collarbone. But to do this, I want you to cross your hands. So you're tapping left on right collarbone and right on left collarbone. And as you take a nice, easy, deep breath, just feel yourself grounded in this moment. And with a fist, I just want you to tap gently right in the center of your chest. And as you take a nice, easy, deep breath, just tune into the amazing healing power of your system. The 3 trillion cell community that does so many amazing things in conscious, subconscious, and unconscious ways all day long. The system's not perfect, but it does some really amazing things that we don't have to think about. The way it fights infection and disease, the way it rebuilds itself. Another deep breath. Just appreciate how wonderful and amazing that system is. And I want you to tap on your chin. And as you do that, recognize that as you do work today, information is going to come forward. It might come forward in the sense of thoughts, emotions. It might be memories or physical sensations. And just recognize all of that is nothing more than information. And all of that is good. Let the system know that there's no judgment here. Let it know that whatever information it has to share, even if it doesn't understand it, we don't understand it, that's okay. It's all part of the healing process. There's no rush. There's no worry. As you tap on the side of the eye, what I want you to do is I just want you to imagine in front of you there's a container of some sort. It might be a bowl, a basket, a velvet pouch. Something that we're just going to place the things that we're going to do tapping on into that basket or pouch. And if you've done this before, it doesn't have to be the same container you used the last time. And as you tap on the collarbone, recognize that what we're going to do is we're just going to take those issues and place them inside of this container, whatever it is. And so as we start to add things, just see them being added. They might be added as specific images, they might be representations, they might be boxes, cubes, file folders, papers, pictures. It doesn't matter. Just give your subconscious mind to take the different pieces that we're going to use, and when it comes time to place them inside of the basket, inside of the bag, inside of the container, whatever it is, just give your subconscious mind permission to represent them however they are. And if it comes up with a symbol or an image that you don't understand, that's okay. And so as you tap under the arm, recognize that there are issues and things that you'd like to tap on that have to do with the relationships you have. They might be relationships as close as spouse, children, parents, family members, or they could be more distant, like coworkers or just people in your building. As you tap on the eyebrow, just place into the container something representing all of the different relationship things that you'd like to tap on today. And if they're all represented by one thing, that's great, or they could be multiple things as well. Again, knowing you don't have to understand them. And as you tap on the chin, just see those things being placed in the container. As you tap on the tippy top of the head, there might be issues that you'd like to tap around the work that you do or the work that you'd like to do. Side of the hand, it might be about an issue that needs to resolve itself in your current workplace. Collarbone, maybe it's about work that you'd like to do that you're not doing now. Under the eye, you'd like to see growth in the work that you're doing. Again, in some form, see all of these issues just gently placed inside of our container. As you tap on the eyebrow again, know that it doesn't matter if you understand specifically what is being placed in there. Just see it placed there. As you tap under the nose, there are issues around your health that you might want to tap on today. As you tap on the chin, something from the past that's still lingering. Under the arm, or maybe there's a future transformation you'd like to see. You'd like to see yourself get healthier, stronger, maybe release some weight. As you tap on the liver spot, just see the representations of those things also just being placed gently into our container. It could be one thing, it could be lots of things, knowing full well we don't have to understand what any of the images are. As you tap onto the eye, There might be issues around the space that you live that you'd like to tap on today. Side of the eye, it might be about the physical space itself. Eyebrow, how it needs to be cleaned. Chin, or wanting to move on to something different. As you tap under the arm, it might just be your feeling and sense of home, that sense of sanctuary. As you tap in the liver spot, just see images around those things being placed inside of our container, knowing full well we don't have to understand them. And as you tap on the eyebrow, you might have issues around your spiritual journey and your spiritual path that you'd like to tap on. As you tap on the chin, maybe you're looking for new opportunities for growth. As you tap under the arm, or maybe you're in a circumstance where you just can't seem to figure some things out. Top of the head, there might be more questions than answers. Just place all of those needs, those desires, those issues into our container. And as you tap under the arm, there might be other intentions. Any other intentions that you'd like to tap for today? As you tap under the eye, you might even get an image of something that needs to be placed in the container that you don't understand. You have no idea what it's about, and that's fine. Give the subconscious permission to place whatever it'd like into those containers. And as you tap on the chin, recognize that all of these things are in the container, things that you're already carrying. We didn't add weight to the load. As you tap under the nose, give yourself permission to know that it's good that you're able to identify these things even if you don't understand them. As you tap on the side of the eye, some of the things that are in this container are things that need immediate work. And know that as we do this, you don't have to be staring at them the entire time. You don't need to figure out which things we're tapping for. So the things that need immediate work or the things that need distant work, don't try and sort that out in your mind. As you tap on the eyebrow, if you'd like to close the container so you can't even see the contents inside as we tap, that's great. As you tap on the chin, if you'd like to be more focused on those things, do that as well. As you tap on the side of the eye, everything that's in this container was useful in some way at some point, or at least the system thought so. As you tap on the side of the hand, just recognize that there are things in the container that are no longer useful to you. They might have served a purpose in the past, and if they need to come back in the future, they can, but they're not useful right now. So as you tap under the nose, just recognize those things, again, without having to get specific, that are in the basket, in the box, the container, whatever it is. As you tap under the eye, just give those things permission to just start to change, transform, release. As you tap on the eyebrow, there also might be things in the container that you're carrying for someone else. As you tap on the side of the eye, you pick them up as an act of love, as a way to care for someone, to be with them, to help them. And that could have been done in a conscious or an unconscious way. It might even been done so long ago you don't remember it. As you tap on the chin, just recognize the things that are in the container that don't need to be there anymore because you picked them up for someone else and it's time to release them. And as you tap on the side of the hand, recognize that you're not giving them back to the person you picked them up for. You're letting them go and you're releasing them, healing yourself and healing them. As you tap on the eyebrow, you might see that there are things in there that you just don't understand, but part of you knows it's time to let them go, to release them, to heal them. And as you tap on the chin, just tune into the container and direct a healing energy towards those things that aren't understood in your conscious mind, but part of the system knows that they can be transformed or released. As you tap on the eyebrow, just know that the system thought it was useful at some point, but it's not now and it can be released, and that's okay. As you tap on the top of the head, recognize that there are things in the container that you need to have insight about, that insight needs to be brought to in some way. And as you tap under the arm, somewhere the system has access to that insight, the lesson that needs to be learned, or the lesson that needs to be brought to that issue. As you tap on the collarbone, just see that insight being brought in so it can become part of you. As you tap on the chin, and as that insight comes in, it might transform what's in the container, it might transform you. As you tap on the side of the eye, know that you don't need to understand. Just allow it to happen. As you tap on the eyebrow, and no rush and no hesitation. As you tap on the collarbone, there might be issues in the container that inspiration needs to be brought to them. As you tap under the arm, maybe the inspiration is healing, maybe the inspiration is transforming, maybe the inspiration is instructive. As you tap on the collarbone, just tune into that wellspring of inspiration and just bring it to the container and give it permission to touch whatever it needs to touch and transform whatever it needs to transform. As you tap on the eyebrow, knowing that it might transform us in our relationship to the issue, or it might transform the issue itself. And as you tap on the chin, just see that inspiration moving through and around you and all that's in the container, bringing health, well-being, transformation, healing. As you tap on the tippy top of the head, there are things in the container in which unconditional love needs to be brought to. Collarbone, maybe the issue needs love brought to it, or maybe you need love brought to you about the issue. As you tap on the side of the hand, just feel that sense of love percolating and transforming, touching and healing through, around, with you, and all that's in the container. As you tap on the chin again, giving yourself permission to know that you don't need to understand how the transformation is happening, but the transformation is good and healing. As you tap on the tippy top of the head again, just take a nice deep breath and continue to feel that love pulsate and swirl, touch and transform. As you tap on the liver spot, there are things that just direct healing needs to be brought to. Either you need to be healed around the issue or the issue itself needs to be healed. And as you tap under the eye, just feel that sense of healing coming in, moving effortlessly to every place it needs to go. And as you tap on the eyebrow, it might release, transform, or change what's in the container under the nose, or it might change you and your relationship to what's in the container. And as you tap on the side of the hand, just feel that healing continue to pulsate, swirl, touch, transform, shrink, grow, doing exactly what it needs, knowing it knows exactly where to go. As you tap under the nose, maybe there's something else that needs to be brought into the container and into you. As you tap onto the eye, just give the subconscious permission to bring in whatever it needs to bring in to continue the healing process, the transformation process, the releasing process. As you tap on the side of the eye, just let it move, swirl, transform. As you tap in the eyebrow, knowing that all the work doesn't have to be done right now, that there's a perfect amount of work to be done today. As you tap on the collarbone, just take a nice, easy, deep breath. As you tap on the side of the hand, just notice what's left in the container. As you tap on the eyebrow, there might be more or less in there. They might have transformed, changed colors, shapes, size. As you tap onto the eye, be easy with yourself, knowing that you don't need to understand the transformation that's happened. As you tap on the liver spot, recognize that insight and lessons have been learned in this process. Under the nose, if those lessons and insights are conscious, just rename them now. Claim them as your own. As you tap on the eyebrow, there might be other insights and learning that have happened at such a deep level you don't consciously recognize them, but that's okay. As you tap on the tippy top of the head, just give yourself permission to absorb them, acknowledge them, make them part of you. As you tap on the eyebrow, recognize that maybe there's some action steps that need to be taken in response to the healing that we just did. As you tap on the side of the eye, just give yourself permission to note the things that it's time for you to do. Big steps, small steps. As you tap on the collarbone, take a nice, easy, deep breath. And as you tap on the side of the eye, take a nice, easy, deep breath. And as you tap under the arm, take a nice, easy, deep breath. And give yourself permission to sit here as long as you like before you get up and you move again. If there's issues that need to be attended to directly and you know what those are, I'd encourage you to take a few moments and tap on those now. Or maybe you just want to take the process and repeat it again. Go back to the beginning and replay it. Just allowing the subconscious mind to touch, transform, and work. Very, very straightforward. After you hear that audio once, you're not going to need to come back and listen to it again if you don't want to, because you can do it in your own way. But the resource is always here. Come back and re-listen, play it along. I was actually talking to one of my clients for one of the tools like this. It was a different one. And she mentioned the fact that over the course of 2 months, every single night at the end of the day, she went back to the same audio over and over again because she liked the fact that even though the tool and the technique was easy for her to use, she liked the idea that she could just tap along and let my voice guide and do the work. So if this is something that is useful, stick it into your rotation. Also, if you know someone in your life who could use an audio like this, please be our ambassador and pass it along. The easiest way someone finds a new piece of audio is from the recommendation of a friend. It would mean the world to me if you would pass it along. And if we're in a circumstance where the people in our lives are healthier and happier, it impacts all of us. I mention this every week. It feels a little cheesy to say it out loud, but it's the truth. That if the people around you are happier and healthier, there's a rippling effect and it impacts everyone they touch as well. And so every single time we have the opportunity to make someone else's day better by the way that we act or a resource that we share with them, that is going to ricochet back, it's going to ripple back, and it's going to impact us as well. If you have not done so already, I'd really encourage you to subscribe to the podcast. In podcasting parlance, subscribe is always free. You can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, everywhere you get audio. If you type Tapping Q&A End, you will find the podcast. And if you subscribe, you're going to make sure you don't miss any of the future episodes. Right now, every single Monday, we're taking an episode like this where we're remastering one of the old bonus podcasts. And every single Wednesday, we have a new podcast coming out. This way you don't miss these amazing free resources. There's over 150 hours. If you go to tappingpodcast.com, you can see the entire archive. They're always there, free, available. There's over 10 and a half years of audio just waiting for you. If you have a question, if you have a comment, I can always be reached, Gene, Gene, at tappingqna.com. Let me know a topic you'd like me to cover. Let me know if there's someone in the future you'd like me to interview. I'm getting ready to do a bunch of new interviews in the spring, and I have a great list of people, but there have been lots of great guests who I've had on the show that I never would have thought of if it wasn't from a recommendation from someone like you. So please let me know. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli or Tapping Q&A.